All right, so I want to talk about a strategy I was thinking of to help kind of boost your bottom line this year, given the dynamics that are happening in the crypto market. And the basic dynamic, if you want to look it up, is the average ICO 10x's. That's the ROI on a good ICO. But we're saying that the average actually 10x's. Now, that's a good strategy here to try to use those 10x's. If you do that 4 times, starting with $1,000, that puts you to $1,000,000. That's a nice kind of round number, a good goal to have a foundation in crypto. So I want to talk about that strategy. It's a high risk, high reward, you could say, kind of strategy. But if you use the right advisors and the right vetted projects, it's pretty doable. So I've done 2 or 3 projects that have 10x'd as far as ICOs in the last 6 months. I've done 2 or 3 that 5x'd and one that actually 100x'd. So let's go through my vetting process and the kind of people and teams I use to vet things. So the first thing is to say, well, I trust a team to vet things for me, and that's something about checking your own ego. How much do you really know about a project? How much diligence are you doing yourself? What is your level of expertise in something? You don't want to discount your own opinion completely, but you don't want to have complete faith in it. Most likely, if you're an investor, you're not going to understand the back end technology. You're not going to be able to look at any detail. So you want to use teams. You want to use people that have good integrity, that are going to vet these projects to kind of back up what you're saying, or at least give you the playing field of different projects so you can kind of choose your investment levels. So let's start out with my best lead and the give and take of this, which is Cliff High. So I've been using it for 6 months. This is probably outlined 80% of my investment strategy. Cliff High it has a programming background, amazing level of diligence in what he looks into, and a team of people researching these projects. So you are looking at probably one of the most detailed scrutiny of any kind of projects, and really stable mid to longer term investments. Sometimes there's short term runs where he give a time point for a pop or a quarterly pop. So you get good levels there. I trust putting money with Cliff. I don't necessarily trust for big short term gains, but any project he's looking at is a lot of times is under the radar, so you can put some money in there and let that grow. Or he's reinforcing the fundamentals where you get good strong coins that are going to weather most things. Because even though the altcoins are high risk, high reward, the main coins he'll say, well, this is tended to grow a little bit more than this, so this will help with the core allocation. But he'll come out with ICO projects, and like Kin was a recommendation. Veritasium was one that I got into, that 100x. So Cliff is an outstanding source. I've been vetting him for months, making tons of money with Cliff. Okay, so let me give you another example, because you have to find the right kind of characters that are going to invest this. They have to be not really influenceable by money, not easy to be bought off, and have a good mix of skill sets. So between the market knowledge, knowledge of the business world and the personal world, what is going to appeal to people, and the technical knowledge, it's hard to get that balance. So there's not a lot of people that I use to vet projects that I trust, but these 3 are in that. Cliff is definitely the top kind of vetter of projects. Okay, let's go through Michael Supo. He's another YouTube channel. So Cliff High, you can buy his reports. He does some interviews, but he doesn't get into a lot of details. You got to buy his reports for like $100 or whatever. Okay, Michael Supo. A lot of his stuff is free, available on YouTube. Super clown, but entertaining, enjoyable, and I mean his background is in app development. So he was an entrepreneur and kind of a project leader of app development. So, and transitioning to the crypto world is a pretty easy step. So, Supo's got a lot of good calls. I've profited from him as well. He's good for short-term calls, and the level of diligence isn't as deep as Cliff High, but he looks into things, looks at the team, so he's more social proof focused and business case focused than Cliff High. And so it's a little bit more risky with Supo, but I haven't really lost anything with him. He's not afraid to find the ones that pop the most in the short term. So Supo's made a ton of good calls, so good guy to pay attention to figure out, what good projects may be. So Crypto Love is a newer one, but he does find a lot of sleepers, a lot of gainers, and a lot of these guys are independent thinkers too. So you'll get some overlap, but they'll come at it from different angles. So Crypto Love is a former NASA engineer and just crypto obsessed. This is what he does full time. And, he's had some good calls like Deep Brain Chain, for example. Understands the business case for ARK. You have a good balance of technical versus the business case for that, the social case for a coin. So these guys are good balanced thinkers. Again, Cliff High is my top one. Supo would be number 2. And Crypto Love is a newer source for me, but right now I've seen a lot of original thought and uninfluenced by hype, and these guys, I don't see them being paid off or sponsored ICOs. Okay, so let's look at how this kind of plays out. Now you'll find these kind of criteria on these, but specifically this is also what Supo looks for. So he'll give a rating, by the way, and if you're doing the four project flip, which means you start with $1,000, you go to $10,000, you go to $100,000, you go to $1 million, right? So if you were to do this, I would only focus on Supo's coins that are 4 stars and above, 4 out of 5 stars. If you're going to do these flips, but if this is a strategy, you also want to look at time frames, time horizons. You want to make sure they're going to be listed on exchanges quickly. You want to make sure that a good deal of hype that's going to drive the price up, right? So teams matter. A lot of times when people vet coins, it's through teams. So if your other investors are getting involved, you need good teams. You want to look for market-ready products, and this is also goes in line with like a corporate backing. So Disney did Dragon Chain, or a lot of Disney people were behind Dragon Chain. So you see that they already have a business, which means a customer base, and they have the technical kind of push behind them to get a project going. So if it's market ready, it means it's going to drive the price up quicker, and so that's another feature you're looking for. Also, exchange listing time frame. So when are they planning to list on the exchange? You want to see that in the white paper, within a period of months or weeks, etc. You want them to be able to list on people where other people can bid and buy you out and bid up the price. You also want to look at token supply. So if they have 1 billion plus tokens, that price isn't going to necessarily move quickly. But even that is give or take. If the cost is low enough on the token supply, then yeah, you can get a good 10x. A lot of new trends are people like to buy low cost coins to get a lot of them because they think they're richer. Like, so take the dynamic of Ripple lately, that 10x, but it took a period of several months to do that, and it's been listed for over a year. The other thing I'm looking at is market equivalent. So is there something like this in the market already? And, is there a good business case to decentralize it? Is it cheaper? Is it hunted down or overregulated where decentralization would get rid of those problems? So, for example, I'm looking at an ICO called Vice. Vice is already like market equivalent. Like, what is the already centralized solution, which is Pornhub? Porn is a good money making business as it is, so I don't really have a problem with understanding or seeing that this is a good business case for it to be decentralized. Banking is another one. There's lots of things. You just want to look at what people are already interested in the normal market that's already centralized. Is there a business case for it to be decentralized? So market equivalence is important. The Visa of the blockchain, the Pornhub of the blockchain, the American Express, the PayPal of the blockchain. So these are kind of things you want to look for in these 10x projects. And this is a basic breakdown. So it goes from $1,000, you start with that, 10x to 10K to 100K to 1,000 or to a million. So good breakdown there. Your core position should be in larger coins, in more protocol projects like EOS, etc. But if you're looking for those high growth gainers, ICOs are a good way to go. You just got to vet them, and you can't get caught up in the hype of things. Or if you are, you got to be prepared to get out quickly, because those can go up and go down quickly. So that's the general breakdown of the 4 flips to financial freedom. I'm open to any kind of feedback if you guys like projects, or you guys have advisors that you use. I would say the main hurdle is using teams to vet your projects, to make sure all the kind of corners are covered in that as best as you can. But there's a lot of profit in this strategy. If you only do it with $1,000, it's fairly low risk. And it's just more of a matter of doing your diligence and getting in and getting out. So thanks for listening. All right, that's the 4 flips to financial freedom. Take care. Bye-bye.